Hi, so today I want to talk about Skirk, who's coming out next patch. Right now we have Escoffier, and she's a cryo buff, and she works really well with Freeze team. She's kind of confined in that team, unfortunately, but she is a good cryo buffer. And right now, cryo is not highlighted in Genshin, but we only have one Archon left to go, which is the Cryo Archon Tsaritsa. And I can see that Hoyoverse is slowly building Cryo up. And for me, as of right now, the reactions are not that impressive because Freeze, it's one of the old reactions out there. When it comes to bosses, you can't really freeze them. So unfortunately, it doesn't really work well. And right now, my cryo team is, I don't really have like a good team. I don't have Shenhe, who's another buffer, and she pairs really well with Ayaka, who is like my only cryo DPS. And we know that Ayaka's burst is one of the strongest cryo damage out there. And Risley, he is just very much a close combat kind of character. There's a limitation with his AoE. With Ayaka, her burst, even though it dishes out a lot of damage, but it's very inconsistent. So because of that, I know that Skirk coming out next patch, I know some people are very excited. For me, I was excited till I saw Scoffier. What I learned from this character is that she's very confined, restricted with the Freeze team, and I feel like Skirk is going to be kind of similar when it comes to being restricted. Escoffier, I wouldn't say a must pull for Skirk for you to really take advantage of Skirk's damage, but if that's going to be the case, like I'm not going to summon for Escoffier. That's the thing. So if Skirk is going to need Escoffier to put out damage as crazy as like Arlecchino and also Mawika, then I'm most likely gonna skip Skirk, even though I really like the design. And I have seen some snippets here and there. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but the character looks amazing, and the animation kind of reminds me of Chlorinde, especially the burst. So today I wanted to kind of do an inventory on my cryo characters and see, do I really need Skirk? Here we are on the character archive here. 5-star characters, Chi-Chi, she's irrelevant. We're all familiar with Chi-Chi in a sense of like being annoying, losing a 50-50 to her. And I think I have her at C4 now, so most likely I'm going to get her C6. And now, the first ever cryo DPS was Ganyu. And Ganyu still to this day puts out a really strong damage with her strong attack. But being the fact that she's a bow character, if you don't care for that kind of gameplay, it gets really boring, very repetitive. If you like her, great. She's fantastic. All right, Eula, I don't really think we need to talk about Eula because Eula is more of a physical damage dealer. Her cryo, even though she's a cryo unit, she works really well with Electro, which she is very inconsistent with her damages, especially her burst. If you don't crit, and because of that, and mind you, Eula was my first DPS of this game. She really helped me out through the Mondstadt, and even though she has a soft spot for me in my heart, but for me, I think Eula is right now, she's pretty irrelevant. Now, like I mentioned before, Ayaka is my go-to cryo DPS because of her burst. And I do have her at C2, I believe. Yeah, C2. And her main source of damage comes from her burst. It really works well with the bigger bosses where it's hard to avoid her full burst damage with her C2, but she is very inconsistent with her damage if the enemies are more smaller, and that's where the Freeze team helps really out. And being the fact that Escoffier, one of the cryo buffers, one of the newer cryo buffers, really works well with Ayaka here. I think Ayaka is going to be the reason why I'm either going to summon for Skirk or not, because if Ayaka is going to be providing more damage without Escoffier, because I'm not gonna have Escoffier, so if Ayaka's gonna provide more damage, I think there's no reason for me to summon for Skirk, even though the character looks amazing. But we have other new characters that's coming out soon. Notcry is looking very promising as well, and the potential character that's gonna be coming out with that region is gonna be crazy. Especially like Harbingers. I don't know who's going to be coming out. Columbina could be the next Harbinger to come out. I really hope she's a playable character, and if she is, I low-key am invested in her because of her design. So Ayaka, my go-to cryo damage dealer here, my cryo DPS, and I think Shenhe, still to this day, one of the best cryo buffs, and I believe she gives Escoffier a run for her money because even though this character is pretty old, she still holds up, and I don't have her, and the character design is beautiful. I think she's very, very pretty. Well, you can't really compare her with Skirk because I know that Skirk is a cryo main DPS, and when it comes to main DPS, you have to build support around the character in order for the character to provide as much damage as possible. Silali provides a crazy buff for a melt team, hence why she works really well with Mawika, but seeing that I don't have her, and my Mawika is just fine. I know that she's also a buffer as well. Yeah, so I just want to do a quick video of Skirk, who's coming out next patch, and what do you guys think? Are you guys gonna go for her just because of her aesthetics? I'm kind of like that too, but right now I have to be very selective with my Primo Gems, and if I'm not fully invested in the character, it's really difficult, especially if the character is not going to be as OP as like Mawika. And mind you, Mawika is a Archon, so you can't really compare the two, but I think my expectation has been so high. Also, I kind of want to compare her with Arlecchino because Arlecchino, I summoned for her because I didn't really have like a good Pyro DPS. Arlecchino filled in that gap, but then Mawika showed up. Arlecchino is kind of taking that bench seat for me. I don't really play with her, and her Bond of Life, even though it's a really nice mechanic, but it restricts her from, healing because you can only heal from her burst. Her rotation is that you kind of have to have that Bond of Life pretty high in order for you to do some damage with her normal attack. And if you use her burst, it really erases the whole Bond of Life, and then you have to restart it, and then the damage just goes down. Skirk, even though Skirk is not going to have the Bond of Life, but I feel like if I summon for Skirk, I'm going to enjoy her for like a couple of weeks, and then she's going to be in the same position as Arlecchino. So I don't want to be in that position where Skirk is going to be like that for me. All right, so that's about it. I guess it was kind of like a rant about Skirk, and I don't want to go into details about her kit, but we know that her signature artifact is already out. Kind of pretty much tell how this character is going to play, and I feel like her rotation is going to be a little bit complicated. And when it comes to these complications, if the damage equals the complication, where the damage is amazing and the rotation, even though it's a headache or kind of tedious for you to work around it, if the damage is out there doing crazy number, I don't mind it. But if I have to consider the whole complication on top of that, the damage is not that good, and then also you need like certain characters for this main DPS to work, it's just not worth it. I hope you like this video, and if you watch the video to this very end, I really appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.